Now what I'm going to do with you guys is something I don't do in the stores normally. I'm going to actually create a profile from scratch. I'm going to start at the very beginning, and this is 1.7. This is something I could not do before June 19th of this year when we introduced 1.7. It used to be that you'd have to read at least one training story, and it was 27 panels long. It didn't take that long, but it took about 15 minutes. And the last thing you want to do is have me here talking to my computer for 15 minutes and not you. But with 1.7, we've reduced that time to about 5 minutes. And I've done this before. If you want to look at your clocks, depending on my computer's responsiveness and how fast I talk, it'll be anywhere from 4 to 5 minutes from the time I start setting up a profile until I'm completely done. Now that profile won't be 100% accurate, but that's okay. It's going to give you more of an out-of-the-box experience. You'll see exactly what you can expect. At that point, the only advantage I'm going to have over you is that I know the software. That's it. Otherwise, we're on level playing field. All right, so this is the dorky part of the presentation where I'm wearing the PA system and my iListen headset. So I'm going to click the New button. And I'm just going to name it. So I'm going to call this Rest of Us. And notice that I indicated I was male. Last time I checked I still was, so that's what I'm going to use. There's a difference between male and female voices, so there's a difference in the base profile you would choose. And what it's doing right now is it's copying over that information, creating a unique profile under the name Rest of Us, and it's using the male baseline. All right, so right now at this point, that male voice is the same as my profile, and the male voice are exactly the same. Now, logic would tell you, and it's correct, the closer my voice is to the base profile, the more accurate I'm going to be. So if you're, a doctor, or your voice is a lot different than the base profile, you're a doctor that may be from India, and you have the East Indian accent, it's going to take you longer to get good accuracy. That's just the way it is, because the base profile is going to be kind of a plain vanilla profile. And I tell what microphone I'm using. A lot of people ask, can we use the internal microphone? The answer is yes and no. You need a noise-canceling microphone to get the best results. Now, what a noise-canceling microphone is it has two different microphone elements, one facing my mouth and the other facing away. I'm going to explain a little bit more about that later on. Okay? Speak at a normal conversational volume and pace. This part of setup my microphone listens to your speech. It will automatically adjust the recording volume to suit your environment. When the program has heard enough, it will tell you how well your audio system is suited for speech recognition. A portion of what you just said will be played back. Listen for any problems, such as too much background noise or distortion. If you reach the end of this text, please continue reading from the beginning. So, as I can hear, it didn't provide any distortion, it's working fine. So now it's going to test the room noise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so now it's going to load the Learn My Voice. That's the set up my microphone module. You can do that particular exercise. It only takes a couple of minutes. Anytime you notice your accuracy is dramatically less than what it has been, you can go and use that. It could be for any number of reasons. Maybe your microphone's too closer than it was when you first set it up. Maybe it's farther away. Maybe there's a lot more room noise than there was. Maybe there's less room noise. There's all sorts of things that could happen that would change your accuracy. So by doing that calibration that I just did, you can get your accuracy back in line again. Now I'm going to read it a little bit, and this only takes, again, about 3 or 4 minutes to read this first 6 panels. And by doing this, it can learn the way I speak, the way I pronounce things. I'm going to explain a little bit more about that a little bit later on. Welcome! Exclamation mark. You have just reached the training module, period. Before you begin working with this speech recognition program, comma, it is highly recommended to complete this training, period. To complete the training module, comma, you will need to dictate text, period. This process is necessary so the program can learn your vocal characteristics, dash. This is needed to recognize you as a speaker, period, paragraph. All you need to do is speak, semicolon. Let your Mac do the rest, period. This will take a few minutes, comma, so please be patient, period, paragraph. The text you dictated will be used to create your individual vocal reference file, period, paragraph. As you are training, comma, the program will learn your style and manner of speaking, period. This will allow your Mac to recognize the characteristics of your voice and maximize its ability to convert spoken language into text, period. For best results, comma, try to follow these simple steps, colon. Speak as clearly as possible and hold your microphone close enough to your mouth to assure a clear input, period, paragraph. When you have completed the training, comma, your first personal set of vocal references will be created by the program, period, paragraph. Have fun while learning to use your voice with your Mac, exclamation mark, paragraph. Okay, so right now it's going to gather all those voice samples it just took, and it's going to kind of put them all in one place so it can analyze them, and we're going to then tell it to analyze. It just takes a few minutes to do that. Now you notice while I was speaking, there was a signal meter, a yellow bar with a little bit of green on the end. Okay, I'm going to give you your first user group tip about speech recognition. When you set it up, that yellow bar represents the noise in the room. All right? The green bar represents your voice over that noise. That's why it's on the right side. It's over the yellow bar. And since I'm speaking right here, when I set it up, my voice is also the loudest thing in the room to this microphone. It's the closest thing. So what it actually does is it compares the sound of the coming in on the two different microphones, and whatever isn't my voice is discarded. Okay, that's the way a noise-canceling microphone works. So if you have too much yellow, that means that it thinks your voice is part of the room noise. You're going to get poor accuracy. If you have too much green, it's going to think a lot of the room noise it's hearing is your voice, and therefore you're also going to get poor accuracy. So what you want to shoot for is you want that green bar to be about 20% of the total length of the entire bar, yellow and green. Don't have to worry about how long it is. In a noisy environment, it's going to be longer than a quiet environment. At home, it might just be 25% all the way across. And in a noisy office, it might be 75% all the way across. That doesn't matter. What you're shooting for, though, is the green should be about 20% on average when you're speaking. That's the first tip. Okay, so I'm going to click Finish Training. There are up to 13 training stories that I can read, including the one I just did. In theory, you would think that reading more stories improves your accuracy. I have found that not to be the case. And yet every speech recognition company, including ours, tells you that. Well, why? Well, because we don't want you thinking it's Star Trek. We don't want you thinking you just take it out of the box, start talking, and it's going to be 100% accurate and go off doing all this other stuff. And so we want you to spend a little time and know that you have to spend a little effort to get the best results. But here's the trick. What you do is you read a training story, and then you check your accuracy. See how accurate it is. If you're getting above 90%, 90% or higher accuracy, don't worry about reading any more stories. Whether that's after the first story or the second or the third, just stop at that point, because you're going to get diminishing returns. You might kick it up another percentage point, but you can do that really easily through correction.